Yo, what's up YouTube? It's the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low, and I'm back with another episode of the NBA preview. Now, for everyone out there who missed the last episode, as always, there will be an annotation in the top right hand corner, links in the description, and if you watch the video in its entirety, not only will there be annotations for the last episode, but also a playlist for the entire NBA preview, so you can binge watch and catch up on the series. But with all that being said, people, we are finally here. I know a lot of people have been anticipating this team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, pump your brakes for a second, because I know a lot of people are going to be upset, because a lot of people believe that the Los Angeles Lakers should be lower on this list, while a lot of other people believe that the Los Angeles Lakers should be a playoff team, which is why I'm just confused to where everyone stands on this. So hopefully this video can give you some clarity. For those who are unaware, over the last couple of seasons, the Los Angeles Lakers have obviously been rebuilding, moving forward beyond the Kobe Bryant era, bringing in some new talents, and some players have been hit or miss. The organization finally decided to move on from D'Angelo Russell, bring in Brook Lopez, and draft hopefully the point guard of the future in Lonzo Ball. And if you are a basketball fan, let alone a Los Angeles Laker fan, and you have no idea who Lonzo Ball is, let me introduce his father, because I guess that's probably the best way to introduce him.
Is he going to the Lakers or not? Have you heard?
I told you, from the words of Zeus, Jesus, everybody said he's going to be a Laker. They told me before they told y'all.
So Lonzo Ball is supposed to be a transformative player, pass first point guard, has a high basketball IQ, which I think is probably his best attribute to his game, and I think a lot of people overlook that. But obviously his vision is amazing. He can knock down a three when he gets an open shot, and hopefully he can turn into more of a complete player, because there's definitely some aspects of his game, especially his frame and what he can or cannot do on the defensive end, that's really concerning moving forward. But many people, including myself, would easily say that Lonzo Ball has the potential to be one of the next greatest basketball players in NBA history, let alone be one of the greatest point guards in history as well. And I think that is a standard that not only Laker fans have set out for him, but even some casual fans as well. He's extremely electrifying with his play and his passing. Hopefully he's going to be able to fill up the arena, but the Los Angeles Lakers really have never had a problem with that. But there is one problem that the Lakers have had over the past couple seasons. It is winning. Unfortunately, D'Angelo Russell really wasn't the player for them, and hopefully moving in a different direction can translate into some wins sooner than later. And if this year doesn't pan out, the Los Angeles Lakers have set themselves up to be vastly successful in the free agency market in the next upcoming seasons. But as a Laker fan, I must admit myself, they've been doing this for years and it never really panned out. But with that being said, that's a great transition to our depth chart and our contracts, so you get a better understanding of what I mean by setting themselves up financially for the next couple of off seasons. Now, looking at the contracts, I must admit the Los Angeles Lakers, they have been pretty busy over the last couple of months, adding players such as Vanderbilt, Andrew Bogut, Tyler Ennis, but the biggest free agent that they signed this last offseason is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope with a 1-year $17.7 million, which I believe is a great move for both KCP and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, when it comes to overpaid players, yes, we still have Luol Deng under contract for $17.2 million this next upcoming season, which is a hefty price tag, especially from a player that will be coming off of the bench. And then finally, when we talk about expiring contracts, this is where things get extremely interesting. Andrew Bogut, Corey Brewer, KCP, Brook Lopez, and probably one of the more understated stories of this team is Julius Randle being an expiring contract. Now, he will be a restricted free agent because he's still on his rookie contract. However, it will be interesting to see how much the Los Angeles Lakers are willing to throw his way, but also it will be very interesting to see what a 6'9" power forward who can't really space the floor, what is his value in the open market, because there's a lot of players out there who fit that mold, unfortunately. But the biggest reason why that is extremely important, especially if you're a Los Angeles Laker fan, is because after this next upcoming season, after all of those contracts are off the books, the Los Angeles Lakers will only have $55 million under their books, which means that they'll have upwards to $40+ million to spend in this next offseason. And when you're talking about a player such as Paul George, who is rumored to have some interest to join the Los Angeles Lakers because that is his hometown, it will be extremely interesting to see what the Lakers do with that abundance of salary cap at their disposal, because even if they want to re-sign some of those players back to the organization, they still should have some money to play around with in free agency. Now, moving on to the depth chart, and this is where Los Angeles Laker fans, you will get extremely exciting, because the lineup, in my opinion, is extremely promising. At the point guard position, we have Lonzo Ball. At 2, we have Caldwell-Pope. At 3, Brandon Ingram. And at the power forward and center position, we rounded up with Julius Julius Randle, and Brook Lopez. And the bench, in my opinion, is vastly impressive. Shout out to my man Kyle Kuzma, because boy oh boy have you been impressing a lot of people, including myself, over the last couple of months. Also Larry Nance Jr., Luol Deng, but let's not forget Jordan Clarkson is coming off the bench as well. And actually, so far in this series, I would make an argument that this is probably the best bench from top to bottom that I've seen so far. There's a lot of depth on this team, especially on the perimeter, which is something that as a Laker fan you have to enjoy, because the lineup possibilities are almost endless. You can run multiple lineups with Kyle Kuzma either at the 3 or the 4, bring in Luol Deng, put Brandon Ingram at the point guard position because he was running some point guard late last season, or even have a small ball lineup with Larry Nance Jr. at the 5. But with all that being said, I'm pretty sure a lot of people want me to talk about the one and only Lonzo Ball, which is why he has to be our spotlight player of the day. Now, Lonzo Ball is a 6'6" point guard hailing out of UCLA and probably has one of the most iconic fathers out there who will consistently tell you how transcendent of a player Lonzo is. Now, in my personal opinion, I actually agree. Lonzo Ball passing ability is something that is far ahead of his time, but the one thing that really separates himself from not only the players that he was drafted with, but with a lot of other point guards in the NBA, is his vision and his high basketball IQ. There's certain things that I saw Lonzo do in the summer league and the preseason that take certain players multiple seasons to perfect. Matter of fact, there's some things such as full court passes that elite point guards in today's NBA won't even feel comfortable with attempting. However, Lonzo Ball pretty frequently started a fast break from the other side of the court and was able to throw touchdown passes to a player such as Kyle Kuzma on a regular basis, which is something as a Laker fan you have to look forward to. This is an organization that wants to move forward in a more up-tempo speed offense, and so being able to get out on the break when the defense hasn't even crossed the half-court line yet is something that will immediately translate into easy points. Now, when it comes to the half-court setting, it's some good but also some bad. The good is Lonzo Ball's IQ starts to kick in. This is probably the first time I've seen in a very long time where you have a point guard who understands how far he needs to penetrate before he kicks out the ball, sucking in as much attention from the defense as he possibly can before he kicks it out to a wide open shooter so they can have the highest possibility of making the shot. Another thing that's very impressive when it comes to Lonzo Ball that I've immediately picked up on when it comes to a lot of these players is how contagious the passing bug is. The fact that Lonzo Ball in his play has convinced so many other players on his team to be more free-willing when it comes to their ability to pass the ball is something that's vastly impressive and something that I truly like. Now, when it comes to the bad, I must admit there's a lot of concerns there. Defensively, there's nothing really to talk about. There were not only players in the preseason, but also rookies who are not even going to be in the NBA during the summer league who were able to blow right by Lonzo Ball with very little resistance. So I'm not really looking forward to that. And then on the offensive end, even though yes, he's a great passer, there's multiple times where he overpasses, especially coming off a pick and roll, and then his scoring abilities are just so suspect it's ridiculous. He doesn't really have any dribble moves that are at an elite status yet, but he can work on that. And then when it comes to creating his own shot, he immediately goes to this step back move that worked out in college, but in the NBA level, especially trying to step back from behind the arc, I really don't know how that's going to work either. But the one thing that really does concern me, I know a lot of people just say, oh, just don't worry about it because, you know, that's what he feels comfortable with doing. It is his jump shot and his mechanics, and my goodness, I don't know how that's going to work in the NBA. The windup is way too long. His elbow is never at 90 degrees. And outside of the release point, there's nothing really consistent about the shot whatsoever, which is why it's going to be hard for me to believe that he's going to be an elite three-point shooter unless, again, he's shooting wide open shots. But even with all of the negative stuff that I just talked about, at the end of the day, I still think Lonzo Ball is a very, very impressive young player, and hopefully everything works out for him. With all that being said, let's move on to our Twitter question of the day. Shout out to my man Edward E Squared, and he asked, will the Lakers do well enough this season to get into the playoffs, and what major player do you think LA would attain during the next 2 years? This right here is going to be a PSA to all my Laker fans out there. Coming from a Laker fan, chill the f*** out. Jesus Christ. Alright, so first, when it comes to the playoffs, no. The Lakers will not make the playoffs. I don't know why people believe this is going to happen, but it's mind-boggling to me. For one, the Lakers defense is trash. Last year, they allowed over 110 points. So the only way that they're going to be able to win while having a trash defense is if they're able to score at an elite level. Brook Lopez is fine, but he's not like a 25 plus scorer, and Brandon Ingram is not going to go from a player who scored less than 10 points to a 20-point scorer in one season. And also Lonzo, yes, he's going to find players open, but Lonzo, I highly doubt that he'll be even able to stay on the court 30 plus minutes within the first 2 months, and he's also been suffering from injuries because, again, he's just not physically fit to play in the NBA just yet. So I highly doubt that the Los Angeles Lakers, just because they added Lonzo Ball, is going to be able to transition into the playoffs, especially because it's the Western Conference. You know, the conference that acquired like half of the All-Stars from the Eastern Conference in the last couple of months. Then when it comes to the free agency and who they're going to be able to pick up, if I'm going to be optimistic, Paul George and DeMarcus Cousins. Those are the only two names that I feel confident in saying. But as a Laker fan, again, just chill out, man. Just everybody just chill for a second. Right now, the Los Angeles Lakers, they just need to figure out who's going to be great and who's not going to be great so they can make sure they make the right decisions moving forward. If you go out there and get a Paul George and then push a player such as Brandon Ingram deeper into the bench, that may not do no good to the organization, especially if Brandon Ingram can actually live up to his potential. Or more importantly, go out there and get a power forward when in reality Julius Randle might actually be the better fit for this organization. So I'll be more so focused on developing young players than going out there signing this free agent and then just shoving him into the lineup that could potentially mess up the development of all of this potential that's on this roster. And also focus on Kyle Kuzma. My goodness, Kyle Kuzma. By far the most impressive rookie in this last draft class. By far the most impressive. But with that being said, I'll wrap it up like this. The Los Angeles Lakers this next upcoming season, I can see them roughly around a high 30s, low 40 win team. However, in the Western Conference, definitely not making the playoffs, but hopefully we can see a lot more development from this organization and this roster because I like a lot of the players. But with all that being said, people, let me know what you think about the Los Angeles Lakers in the comment section below. Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Julius Randle. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, thumbs up, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.